Hey, Money Actors. It's been a while since I did a video, but I wanted to do a follow-up on that Moving from California to Texas series that I started. There's, I think, 4 other videos right now that you can go back to and watch on the decision-making process, and I'm using the same sheet where I started with the OODA decision-making process. So now I wanted to do a follow-up now that I've been in Texas for a couple months, and I can actually attest to what I believed to be true. And the interesting thing is that before I moved, a lot of people were telling me, I have a friend that moved to Texas and it was actually a lot more expensive than they expected. Or some people moved back because they couldn't stand the weather. We've lucked out this year actually because the summer hasn't actually been very bad. We had like 1 week that's been over 100 degrees. But apparently the whole summer is usually like that, and we've actually had a pretty mild summer for here because of a lot of rain. But let's get down to what I wanted to talk about and to verify that it is actually a lot cheaper to live in Texas. So we'll start right off the bat with rent. We have decided to rent here because I am working on a new business, an animation company, and I decided I needed that runway to go as long as I can to try to make this thing work. Or if this doesn't pan out, then I start something else just to try to avoid the corporate thing as long as I can, if I can. So I needed that runway where a down payment would chip away at that runway. Not all of it, but it would chip away a decent chunk. So I decided to rent again. So we're literally doing apples to apples. I've got a bigger place here in Texas. So it's a 2,700 square foot place in California, 3,300 square foot place here in Texas. Those two kind of cancel each other out because for me personally, I loved the backyard in California. It had a built-in pizza oven and really nice area to sit outside. It was small, but really nice. Where my youngest loves this place better because it's got a huge yard we can play football in. So I kind of cancel these two out, but just for your frame of reference. $5,500 in California, $3,000 here. Now the reason you've got these weird numbers is because the $25 was a processing fee to pay my rent, and it's $8 here for the processing fee because the rent's actually $2,995. But I'm putting the whole price in here. And I haven't put in every expense I have because some are kind of hard to do, and I'll get to those in a minute. But just like this, like I wanted to clearly state how much per gallon gas is here versus California, which is $4.60. Apparently right now when I left, it was in the high fives. So it must have come down quite a bit because I looked it up. Here it's $2.45. And the reason I looked it up in California, because it has come down here. When we moved here, it was $2.89, I believe. And then when we flew here to check it out the area, it was $2.99. I believe that was around March because that was spring break. So gas across the board has come down a bit, but still way cheaper here. Pretty much half price in Texas. I'm going to do a groceries thing because what I did was I tried to do like a bookkeeping thing and just kind of see where we're spending groceries. And it's kind of all over the map. And I could do an average, but it just kind of depends on if we're on vacation or tend to eat out one particular month more than another. It was really hard to compare. So what I'm going to direct you to is watch a Home Alone video I did last December, where I did exactly the same shopping that Kevin did in Home Alone from 1989 and the prices he paid compared to what I paid in Southern California. Now I'm going to do a same thing to Texas, and you'll be able to now compare not just to the 1989 movie in Texas, but you'll also be able to compare California to Texas. So I think that'll be a better video to kind of get a sense of groceries and laundry detergent and stuff like that for this line item. That video will be coming up in December of 2024, depending on when you watch this. Internet. I'm getting a terabyte of internet here in Texas for $75, where I got 500 gigs. This is upload or download, whatever that big number is. Never can keep track of that. $120 in California. Now in Texas, I just did this because everybody told me I needed to. It seems accurate. There's a lot of bugs and crawlies here, if you want to call it that. Even our backyard has sort of like this pest walled off area that you can kind of go outside and enjoy outside without, having grasshoppers and whatnot flying at you. So I do pay $50 where I didn't pay that in California. Utilities, about half price. This one is kind of an unfair comparison because because we did not have solar panels in our house in California, but we do have it here. And so electric bill, I was actually a little surprised. Our electric bill was $150 when we have solar panels. I actually called the company and said, what's the deal? Do these not work? Are our landlords selling it back to them and we're not getting to partake? Apparently that is not the case. We moved here in the most expensive time of the year when your air conditioning is going nonstop. And so that's why they said typically our bill for this particular house runs about $60 a month on average. Our bill never really went down in California. I would say maybe in the $325 range. This was kind of our last bill before we left, but it kind of ranged from actually it went up to 500 and something one month. So this is kind of an average. So from $60 average to about $400 average in California is not very good, but kind of unfair because we do have solar panels. So you can see gas is actually more expensive here, natural gas. Water is roughly the same, and electric's probably roughly the same if we didn't have solar panels. So kind of hard to tell. So we'll call that maybe same, but maybe not, because I'm getting much cheaper rent and the place has solar panels and I can plug in my electric car. So maybe this is fair. On top of that, when I compare apples to apples, if you look at roughly every $10,000 that you bring in income, you're keeping $1,000 extra because there is no income tax here. So you can't ignore that. That's a huge amount of money that you're getting to keep in your pocket. I took that off my bill here compared to California because that's a huge savings. So all in all, total, this is what it turns out to be, is a $3,800 savings here in Texas. That's pretty big every single month. That's huge. Now, one of the biggest techniques I have in my Money Act course, there's a whole bunch of producer techniques, but one in particular is finding money. And that's what a producer does, is they try to find money to give the director what they want. Say a director comes up with something cool that's just going to make the show that much better. The producer has to go find money within their budget to figure out how to pay for that, remove something that may be not as significant to pay for this new thing. So moving to Texas was doing just that. That's a massive amount of finding money. And in fact, we did that when we moved from Canada to California. That was a huge finding money moment. No longer am I making Canadian dollars, which you immediately, it's worth 30% less than the US dollar. The costs are extremely high in Vancouver, even more so than California. So that was a finding money moment. Now it's another finding money moment moving to Texas. So I thought, I'm not just going to stop here. I'm going to go through my other expenses. And so I remove these from your everyday expenses because a lot of these are business expenses. Some are not, and this was not a California to Texas comparison, but I decided, can I get mobile service cheaper? We're mostly around the house. We don't need that gigs and gigs of data when we're out and about. So I got rid of T-Mobile and went to Mint. And so it's $15 a month per line. $45. We're noticing zero difference so far out of 2 months, where we were paying $165 for 3 lines. And so that's $120 savings. So not a Texas to California thing, just a finding money thing. I was doing my personal bookkeeping with PocketSmith. It's a great service. I love PocketSmith, but unfortunately AI for them kind of killed it for me. There's a new AI program that I use to do my books. So it killed off my personal bookkeeping that was automated, and QuickBooks, which you need for your businesses. And I have 2 businesses for rental properties and Money Act, of course. That they actually just jacked up the price to $35 a month. That's $70 right there. So I'm almost saving $85 a month. That's over $1,000 a year just by having AI do my books now. I moved to a system called Kartra, and that was for helping me do some applications and forms and stuff for this business. And it was $1,200 a year, but it also does all these other things. And a few things that it does is membership courses that you can bake in, websites, all this stuff. So I was able to get rid of my hosting, which is about $850 a year. Wishlist, which was the membership program baked into the website to run a nice course through. So I basically got to wipe out about $1,200 worth of costs here just in that. by kind of consolidating into one thing that I need. I shifted to a free business checking. I don't know why I was paying $16 a month for business checking. I could do one more for my property one. I'm just kind of going through all of my business stuff too and consolidating and making things cheaper on me. So all in all, the move to Texas, this we can't really count. This is what, $317. It's just kind of showing you wherever you live now, you can probably go through all of your expenses and find things to consolidate and cut, just like I did. This had nothing to do with moving to California. You should kind of do this once a year and just kind of see what am I not really needing? Is there things that I can cut? Because this means $300 more I can use to invest to make more money. This is a moving from California to Texas. $4,000 basically every month that I'm saving. That is huge. It's not chipping away at my current investments, because that's what it was doing. That's why it really was an alarm bell to get the hell out of there while I build this other business. But also now there's money in my pocket that I can invest instead of just chipping away at my investments just to live in California. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go around, check out the housing costs here to kind of see how that's all panning out. Austin has definitely dropped about 40% from its peak in housing costs. I'm seeing around the neighborhood since we came here in March that offering 2.99% teaser rates on houses. And of course, the Federal Reserve just dropped their rate, and they are looking to probably do another 50 basis points again. So mortgages will get cheaper. There's probably going to be a sweet spot to buy here very soon here in Texas as the costs of houses come down and the cost of borrowing comes down. Another sweet spot to buy. So I'll probably do another video on that. And again, look out for that Home Alone video coming in December as well. And it's good to be back, and I'll talk to you next time.